Welcome to yet another episode of MPJ Rock Album Reviews. I'm your host Nigel, and today with me are my guests on my panel, my wicked people, to Simon, to Trish, to Ian, and to William. Welcome, gang! Oh, what's the show all about? Well, if you don't know by now, we are reviewing all the latest rock albums from July 2023, and we are going head-to-head with two brand new album reviews. We're going to rate them out of 5 for our listening pleasure, and if they get over the hollowed 20, they could get into a Hall of Fame, and they could get into our album of the year, the coveted, the prestigious MPJ Rock Album of the Year review show. It's getting closer. And who have we got today? Well, we've got dun dun dun. We have Evile with an E, not proper Evil, and their album called The Unknown, and they're up against Sevendust and Truth Killer. Right, so who are Evile? Evile are an English thrash metal band from Huddersfield, formed in 2004. They've experienced numerous lineup changes over the years. Their current lineup is Al Drake, Ben Carter, Joel Graham, and Adam Smith. Evile are notable for being part of the just the thrash metal resurgence movement from the mid to late 2000s. They are highly praised by Kerrang for carrying the genre's Who revival on their shoulders. And to date, the band have released 6 studio albums, and Evile's sound is primarily influenced by classic thrash metal, citing bands such as Overkill, Metallica, Megadeth, Slayer, Exodus, Testament, Annihilator, Nevermore, Pantera, and though they're influenced by death metal bands like Obituary. Now then, let's go to, I was going to say connoisseur of thrash metal, but I don't think we have any connoisseurs of thrash metal, so what the hell, we'll just start with William. William, Evile with an E. Have you heard of them?
I have not. I mean, we could have gone with connoisseurs of death metal, so that's one of the influences. I have been known to dabble in the
dabble with a bit of death metal. Yeah.
So, in terms of fitting names, right, Evile is the perfect name for this band because, let's be honest, of all the albums we listen to, it does just sound evil, right? You know, those first 4 tracks, just has that, the music's just slow, methodical, like pumping, the drums, guitar, like da 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 da. So it's sort of black in the thrash. It's almost like it's got that, musically, it's got that sort of like doom metal, death metal influence in the music playing, with the vocals obviously not being quite so death metal, missing the old growling. But then you get to halfway through, I think the 5th song, it just kicks in, it goes to another gear, switches to 11, it just speeds up. The guitar goes classic sort of thrash metal speed guitar, quick drums. It's very cool. It's almost like it's like what we said in a previous one about Raven Age. It's like doing classic metal but now again, right? It's that same kind of talky vocals that Iron Maiden or Metallica used in quite a lot of their old songs, with the music playing behind it to influence that, rather than properly singing it. It's always talking along with this thumping music going on behind, which I think is very cool. It has that sort of ominous. It's almost like an ominous feeling of doom's approaching, which is the stereotype of metal. Evil, doomy sounds. It's pretty cool. Like it. Obviously, if it was me, I'd add a bit of growling in. Perfection. Obviously, not to 3 of the 5 people's taste.
So, Ian, Evile, was it evil for you, or was it glory?
I like the title of this album, The Unknown, because evil, for me, are unknown. But I thought it was kind of ironic, because with an album like The Unknown, you would hope that you're getting something new. But I didn't feel there was anything new here. And that's not a criticism in terms of it made it bad. I just would have liked to hear something new. What I heard, I liked, but it was so Metallica in a lot of it. I really thought they leaned very hard, almost to the point that they were Metallica wannabes. And I realised that's quite a a disrespectful thing to say, and I don't mean it to be as disrespectful as it sounds, because Metallica are amazing. I'm not hugely into thrash metal, but I didn't think this was like far-reaching into the echelons of thrash metal. So on that point, I could listen to it quite a lot. I'm just struggling because my notes have just closed up on my phone. There we go. So although it was predictable heavy metal rock is how I class it, I thought that it was consistent throughout and well produced. And you know, when something is well produced, it makes it a lot easier to listen to. There was nothing really stand out in terms than I'm used to and like, but I did think that when Mortal Coils Shed was their tribute to the Unforgiven. There were so many parallels with that, but I thought they did it in their own style. It sounds like I'm slating them. I'm not. I enjoyed it. There were just too many parallels. I don't know enough about the genre to be able to critique it any more than I have done. And I don't want to pretend I know something that I don't, if I'm being honest.
Well, talking about somebody who pretends to know more than they let on, Simon.
Ouch.
It would hurt if you weren't wrong.
I should have switched to me, really, because
as
I'm the biggest component of that sort of stuff, but there we go.
So as everyone said, like, this is a heavy, powerful, thumping album. The tracks just chug along to this heavy tempo. They know what they want to play, and they are not in a rush to play it. The pace does pick up a bit with Sleepless Eyes and Reap What You Sow, but as has been said, I can't shake the feeling that this is just a love letter to Metallica, early Metallica or early Machine Head, and it just doesn't do it for me. If you're into those early years of that sort of stuff, cool. This is, you know, it's got that hit of nostalgia, but the fresh edge. But The Unknown is definitely well known to me, and just not my jam.
Jam. Talk about lovely jam. Trish.
I was going to say seedless or non-seedless, but we'll skip that part.
What?
For the best.
Let's not go there, shall we?
What's going on?
Let's not go there.
Okay, The Unknown. The opening track is moody and mid-tempo with riffs and sound akin to Metallica, like my other colleagues have said. And this sound flows into the next song, The Mask We Wear. The lengthy power ballad, When Mortal Coils Shed, I thought was like an alternative version of Nothing Else Matters. Then Sleepless Eyes, where we get our first glimpse of thrash speed riffs galore and beating drums and showing what they are capable of. Unfortunately for me, my ears are only capable of one listen to this, as it's not the kind of rock music I can appreciate. But I am sure their fans and lovers of thrash metal would think it's an excellent offering.
Ooh, okay. You saw me shaking my head when I was saying about an ode to Metallica, and I agree with Will. I don't think so. I think when you listen to the Metallica latest album, in terms of its pitch, was a higher pitch and a much higher pitch, whereas this is much deeper, more kind of bassy, less emphasis on the drums. I was pounding deep. I mean, same sort of similar kind of tempo to, because it's thrash metal, it is, but I would not say maybe more towards Motorhead or that sort of deeper kind of thrash metal from kind of the 80s, but it was and I'm not saying that I thoroughly enjoyed it, because it was just okay. It was very listenable to. It was very, very well produced. And I think that it kept to its style. This is what we are. This is what we want. It sped it up a little bit. There was some melodic stuff into it with the slower tracks, which Metallica seem to have decided they're never going to do a melodic kind of slower track ever again, because hey, the money's where is where Stranger Things. Yeah, so it's a solid album. It was okay. It was thrash metal. It was a fine exponent of thrash metal. It was a bit more bassier. It was a bit more deeper throbbing. Rather than the fast, solid, repetitive, fast guitars. So they tried to do something I think a little bit different from Metallica's latest album. I wouldn't pitch the two together. Other than it's definitely a thrash metal kind of band, but solid. Solid exponent, but yeah.
It's definitely the earlier works of Metallica, not the most recent stuff.
Yeah, possibly.
The most recent stuff Metallica have changed, but the first few albums of Metallica, this is almost like a copy-paste.
Well,
You definitely can't compare Evil with Metallica of now. Definitely not.
And that's all I can compare with, because I didn't really get into a lot of the early Metallica stuff. But even the really early stuff I thought was more akin to what Metallica are trying to do now. But they seem to have gone back and maybe in a full circle. But anyway, right, okay, they are up against Sevendust. Who are Sevendust with Truth Killer? Sevendust are an American rock band from Atlanta, Georgia, formed in '94. Their members are Vince Hornsby, Morgan Rose, John Connolly, Lagon Witherspoon, and Clint Lowthery. Following their new few name changes, the members settled on the name Sevendust and released their self-titled album in '97, which only sold 310 copies in the first week. But ultimately achieved gold certification through touring and support of their label. Since formation, Sevendust have attained success with 3 consecutive gold certified albums, Grammy nominations, sold millions of records worldwide, and the group has released a total of 13 studio albums, including reissue of their debut album Sevendust Definitive Edition. Sevendust then. Ian, let's start with you. Let's go up with Sevendust. Is that a band that you're familiar with? And what did you think of Truth Killer?
I'm not. I mean, it's got the word 7. I'm familiar with 6. No, I wasn't familiar with Sevendust. But and the opening track, I Might Let the Devil Win. I was thinking, WTF? It was more pop than rock for most of it, and I thought it was like Depeche Mode, if I'm being honest. It was, and that electro rock developed swiftly into melodic metal, like really feeling into metal, occasionally morphing into screamo, and I thought to be able to cross 3 huge, wide sweeping genres on there, I think he's very talented. It's amazing. I thought it was great use of the synthesizer in the rock genre. I'm going to absolutely drop this. I've just bought a Modi X8, and for anyone that knows, that is a serious piece of synthesizer kit. So the stuff they were producing on that is what I dream of being able to produce on this instrument. For me, standout tracks were Everything. Again, my partner pointed out the intro has more than a passing resemblance to the Jaws theme on that one, but the song is absolutely fantastic. No Revolution, Sick Mouth. Takes a while to get into that, but there's some great vocal harmonies in the chorus on that. I thought it was just sublime. Leave Hell Behind, Superficial Drug, Messenger. When an album sweeps that much and you questioning, is this rock? Where is this going at the beginning? And to have that many standout tracks, I mean, that just listen.
Oh, we're having some internet problems today. Is he back? Is he coming back? He normally comes back. He's boomerang.
Yes, am I back?
You're back. You're back, my friend. Yeah, crack on.
Yeah, okay. So if there's an album, I would say of all the albums we listen to, if there's one that just encapsulates so much far and wide, and you want an intro to rock, I would say this is a great gateway album, I would say.
Well, talking about gateways, let's go to the gatekeeper. We call him Sentinel. Simon, gatekeeper. Will the gates open here to Sevendust? Talk to us.
Oh, absolutely. So Sevendust's track Denial, it's one of those tracks that's been played over and over on my mental jukebox so much that it's worn out its own groove. And this album is just solid Sevendust through and through. There are some fresh sounds, like in No Revolution. The vocals and grungy guitars are just solid Sevendust, and it's great. It's so great. On the flip of that, though, I think that's actually the bit that slightly lets the album down just a tiny bit. And once again, back to this sort of nitpicking, like, it's such solid Sevendust that there's almost no experimentation compared to the previous albums. But it's all good stuff. Leave Hell Behind is a really nice sort of ballad. I really find the screaming very calming. It's all good music. I love their sound. I just would have liked to drop more variety in the tracks.
Ooh. Now, there's somebody that doesn't need any variety because she's perfect as she is. Rock Trick Trish.
Hi. Okay, so Truth Killer. A traditional opening track would be a rousing single, but this begins with I Might Let the Devil Win, which starts as a very laid-back track, and it eventually kicks in with heavy guitars, which I have a preference for, with an opening track on an album to engage. There is quite a lot of electronic sound sprinkled through the album, which works well. I love the tracks Everything and Holy Water, Superficial Drug. The album reminded me of Black Orchid Empire and White Raven Down with like a darker sound to it. The ebb and the flow of the album is excellent. It's full of bangers. I love this album. It's an exciting rock album with a modern twist. If I could give it a 7, I would.
The thing is, if you give it a 7, you'll turn to dust. William, Sevendust. Did it ring 7 bells for you, my friend?
Good question, did it?
I don't know. That's what
I asked. Well, obviously, when it comes to rock and those things, it doesn't tend to be something I listen to more often. Well, that often. My rock listening is more on the heavy rock kind of thing. So a lot of this wasn't hugely to my kind of taste. So my opinions are somewhat skewed in that regard, but it was enjoyable, solid rock music. It's the best. It's nice. It's got some good variety in there. Has a few teasy tracks, a bit of screaming in it. I think it was Sick Mouth has a few little cheeky little growls in there just to mix up. That's cheeky bit of that.
You do like a bit of a cheeky growl, don't you, my friend?
I do like a cheeky growl.
Eh?
I do like a cheeky growl. I mean, the weirdest comment I can say is because I saw on their Instagram the other day that if I saw this band supporting someone, I'd be quite happy. I say that just because they're currently touring with Alter Bridge in the US, who, having seen Alter Bridge live, and obviously they're fantastic, and something like this is the perfect kind of thing to warm you up for that kind of music. It's just solid rock supporting solid rock. It's good. I like it. Carry on doing what you're doing. Good job, lads.
Yeah,
good boys.
Do you know, sometimes when I like an album, I've normally added songs to my cool playlist. And these are one of the albums that, as an album, I actually quite enjoyed it. But there wasn't any standout tracks for me. And that's weird, really, because I actually thoroughly enjoyed the album. I liked this variation, I liked this tempo. I hated the growlo, and I hated the bit of growlo that was in it. Hated the tiny bit of screamo in it, but as I always say, it tried to accentuate it rather than dominate it. And it was short. It was short and sharp. So it didn't, ruin the album for me, which is always a bonus. And I liked its variation, but I can't pick out any or remember any particular great songs or bangers that are added to my cool playlist. So I'm going to need to go obviously back and listen to it a couple more times, because I always, if I enjoy an album, I always want to have at least one track on my cool playlist to remind me about that album. So that's something that is on my to-do list. So it's a bit of a weird one for me. I know I really enjoyed it, my notes say I really enjoyed it, but I haven't got any outstanding banging tracks to it, so which is unusual for me. So there's something not quite this, but overall, it's a cracking album. It's really solid and thoroughly enjoyable. So right, whoa, well, okay, I think we may. I mean, it doesn't take a mathematician to work out what could be the winner here, but let's go and find out. Will any of them reach the hollowed grounds of the Hall of Fame. Let's find out then, shall we? So, William, we're going to start with you. Evil.
A better than solid 3.5.
Cool.
Better than solid.
And Ian.
I gave it 3 out of 5.
Simon.
2.5.
Trish.
2.
It was a pretty solid 3 from me as well. So for thrash metal, that's pretty good from us, really, isn't it? So we are looking at 6, 9, 11, 14. So it's over the halfway stage. That's not a solid score. Well done, Evil. Okay, Sevendust. William.
Once again, it was just solid, good, made me happy. So 3.5 again.
3.5. Okay, Ian.
Solid gold. It's a 5.
5? Woo-hoo-hoo. Whoa.
Oh boy!
5 paddles coming out today. Okay, Simon.
Put the paddle back. 4.5.
4 That's still a solid score, Simon. That is still a solid score. Okay, and Trish.
The 5 paddle is back.
Whoa! Really? I was not expecting a 5 for Sevendust. Wowzers, that is exciting. It's a pretty damn solid 4 from me. Really, really good. So 9, 12 and a half, 13, 17, 22. 22? Really? I'm just going to count that up again. 9 and a half, 10, 13, 18, 22.
Wow.
Congratulations to Sevendust and Truth Killer. You have reached the Hall of Fame. You're in the top 10 for the year. You're going to be probably in the shortlist for I'm just saying probably because the standard seems to be getting stronger and higher these days. And for this group to be, what's the 4th album so far this month from this lot who are really harsh that have reached the Hall of Fame. Congratulations, Sevendust.
I think I want to say that for me, this was my album of the year so far. Obviously, I didn't want to say that before because I didn't want to spoil my score. But for me, this is album of the year so far.
But you can spoil away. William, just for the record, Evil or Sevendust would you purchase?
Well, it's a quote I've said to Simon many times. It's a Sevendust because I liked when the man screamed at me.
Yay! There we go. So,
He knew what I was going to say.
The Sevendust wins
when
it.
the man screams at me.
Whitewash, 5-0 on the. So we're also reaching a Hall of Fame. Congratulations to them! What a cracking album! And yeah, welcome to the Hall of Fame. Right. Well, without further ado, we've finished off in great style. Thank you very much to my panel, to Simon, to Trish, to William, and to Ian. Thank you very much, everybody. Keep on rocking. And please, if you like the show, please like and subscribe. Go and check out our other albums. We've got nearly 250 reviews, but also interviews with all the latest bands have released albums. So that seems to be growing and very popular. Thank you very much, and goodbye. And please take care out there. Thanks, everybody. Goodbye.
Bye.
Bye.